Hello and welcome to the start of this FC26 Journeyman career mode. Now, the concept of a Journeyman save won't be anything new to a lot of you, but this career mode series is going to be a little bit different. Those of you that have played Football Manager will likely be familiar with the Pentagon challenge, where the aim is to win trophies across 5 different continents. And this is going to be along those lines. However, we're looking to tick off as many trophies in as many continents as possible, with the added challenge of career mode's 15 season limit, meaning it's unlikely we'll have more than 3 seasons or so in a particular continent to conquer it, so the pressure's on big time. And as you've seen, we're starting in Australia, looking to tick off Oceania first, opting to begin at Melbourne Victory. Chances are we'll move on to Asia or one of the Americas next, with the goal of ending up in Europe. Throughout this series, we're looking to keep it as realistic as possible, which involves adhering to the rules and regulations of whatever league we find ourselves in. Here are the registration rules for the A-League, capped at a fairly small squad with a maximum of 5 foreign players and 2 marquee signings, which for this save we'll define as big name, high reputation players that aren't already at the club. Youth players will simply be defined as those under 18, thinking along the lines of how, Football Manager registration works, where in some leagues you don't have to register the younger players at a club. And the only one in the quota to start with is 52 rated goalkeeper Daniel Groskowski. Taking a look through the rest of the squad, you'll see it's a fairly ageing core, which isn't the end of the world as long as we can conquer the league quickly. And a bit of young promise mixed in there across some areas of the pitch, which will look to get involved. Quite a few wide players available as well, but the main man that we'll look to build this team around, the big reason why we've started at Melbourne Victory. You've seen him in the thumbnail. Champions League and World Cup winner Juan Mata. I've got a feeling this little Spaniard could be the key to our success here in Australia, looking to dispense his wisdom on the rest of the squad and those young players that we've got as well. Tactically, we've set up in a counter-attacking style, with Mata in the roaming playmaker role, essentially encouraging him to just pick the ball up wherever he wants it and make things tick and dictate for us in there. Obviously, Mata is one of our 5 permitted foreigners in the squad, and looking at the others, Traore, in real life, he's something of a club legend. Miranda, the captain, both of them nearer the ends of their career, not much value, so I've got no intention of selling them. Goes without saying, Mata is staying put. Our Brazilian winger, Santos, looks like he could provide a bit of that Jogo Benito flair. But Greek forward, Nicolas Vergos, we've decided that there's room to get rid of him. We're going to do some negotiating, and he will become our first sale of the career. These foreign player slots, they are crucial, and we don't want to be wasting them. But it's a big call, getting rid of our Greek man up top. Just under £700,000, the final fee. He's on his way to Modena, and that frees up a foreign player slot, allowing us to make our first signing off the save. It's only right, something of a journeyman himself nowadays, and in need of a club ahead of the 2026 World Cup, Guillermo Ochoa is through the door to become our first incoming of the career. He might be getting on a bit, and it's one of our marquee player slots filled up, of course, but on a free, you can't say no to that. 40 years of age, but we have offered him a deal that takes him into the summer, guaranteeing him club football up until the World Cup, being joint hosted by his home country. The Mexican shot stopper is the first to join, and we're not done there. We needed someone to fill the gap up top, and who better than the Scot turned Aussie, Jason Cummings. The Cum Dog, as he's nicknamed, takes the vacant number 9 shirt, leaving India, where he was being benched by fellow Aussie Jamie McLaren. He actually did play for Australia at the 2022 World Cup, but he hasn't been involved in the international setup much since then. Fingers crossed he can work his way back in there at Melbourne Victory. And we also bid farewell to our third choice right back, Josh Insera. A little bit of back pocket cash, he's off to Brisbane Roar. Now, taking a look at the Youth Academy, as you'll remember from the rules and regulations, they are unlimited, the amount that we can promote into the first team. And at the moment we've got just the 3 local lads in there, but we've decided to take our scouting into the wider, lesser represented Oceanic countries, providing more of a pathway for OFC football, something that the A-League are actually working on in real life for 2026. In the interest of realism though, we are sticking with a 1-star scout, as the chances of unearthing a genuine wonder kid from somewhere like Tonga, let's be honest, it's pretty slim. But now this is how the team is looking out of the transfer window. Obviously the A-League calendar is a little bit different to most European football calendars, so the transfer window actually takes place about 2 months before the season starts. So we've not had much chance to trial out these players. We're just going to have to go straight into it. Our first game is a trip to Brisbane Roar. We've obviously got our new signings integrated into that lineup, looking to get off to a winning start. Ochoa between the sticks, Jason Cummings up top, and that all-important Spaniard Juan Mata in the middle. Get on to EA about that, by the way. No picture for my go. You are joking. But anyway, look at the boys united ahead of the first A-League match day. We want to be winning this competition in the first season. We want to waste no time. We want one and done. We want to get out of here. But we are underway. Ochoa forced into a test early on with a good save. Hopefully that's going to prove to be a shrewd bit of business from the gaffer. But Brisbane would keep the pressure on, looking to mount the challenge as they hit the crossbar, and then some slow reactions from our man between the sticks mean that they take the lead. And they weren't done there. They kept on pressing on Ochoa. Look at this, mate. He's nearly chucked one in his own net in the first half. Things were not looking good. The signings yet to impress, really. And it would only get worse as Jason Cummings forced off at the break with an injury. Youngster Jing Reese is forced onto the pitch, but we turn to Juan Mata to force something out of nothing. And there it is! The first goal of the series. Roderick Miranda, the captain, like a fairy tale, thumps it in from a corner. Mata with the delivery. It's everything that we thought was going to happen. Mata just creating something when we need it. And, it's not a pretty goal, but you never forget your first, do you? Both teams then went in hunt of the winner. Former Burnley man Chris Long went close. And into added time, substitutes Lino picks up the ball, links up with his fellow sub Jing Reese. In on goal. Can he finish? No, he can't. Not to be on this occasion, but Santos picks up the scraps and it's the unlikely hero. Jordi Valadon pops up from the midfield. He's sacked off all defensive responsibility, bombed into the box, and he's thought, you know what, I'm grabbing this one with both hands. Smashes it into the back of the net. In added time, it's the perfect start to our A-League season. A late winner in not a fantastic performance, but we do not care whatsoever. That results in 3 points on our managerial debut. Perfect start to the save. We will absolutely be taking that one. It's not all sunshine and rainbows though. We received confirmation that Cummings is going to be out for around a month, which, is not ideal. Our star man that we've brought in up top, going to be unavailable, and look at him. He's gutted, bless him. And both Velupoli and Rawlins insist that they want to leave. Oh, the team want out already for some reason, so we're going to be saying goodbye to Rawlins for about £1 million. And as you can see here, I'm told this was a glitch at the start of the game cycle, but has now been patched, thankfully, so we shouldn't be seeing more of that. But we've secured a replacement that's going to come in. So they'll swap out for each other in January. Giuseppe Bovalina from Vancouver Whitecaps, who wasn't getting much playing time there, so we've hooked him in. And Velupoli as well, we'll be saying goodbye to. £1 million for him as well on his way to Montpellier. But regardless, we've got to keep the team together, keep the morale up. And, we've started well, but our first match home at Ami Park, we host Sydney. Ochoa forced into another stop. Hopefully, it's actually a good bit of business in the end. It was a shoddy debut for him, but, this isn't much better. Look at that. You can point a finger at Rawlins as well. He's playing like he's already buggered off. That was a half-hearted challenge. Some questionable goalkeeping as well, but we were behind. The visitors remained on top. Ochoa looking to atone for his errors that he's made so far. And then late on in the game, Grimaldi trying to fill in up top. He's an option as well that can play striker in Cummings' absence. But into added time, it was Grimaldi that went close, not once but twice. Couldn't quite find the back of the net, and that was all she wrote in that one. Moving on to Central Coast Mariners, the Cumdogs' former club, where unfortunately he's not available, but he ripped it up with them last time he was in the A-League. We went close early doors, and the youngster Jing Reese hits the post, trying to stake his claim for that number 9 spot, but he just missed chance after chance. You need to put your ideas up, son. And we had a mini heart attack right at the end as they went through late on, cut inside, trying to block it, but it's our Mexican between the sticks that bails us out and we come away with a point. Next up were MacArthur, and it looked like, unfortunately, we were going to be on for a rerun of our first few games where we create these chances, but we just can't find the finishing touch. That would continue into the second half as we're looking to build something here. Nice passage of play to our winger. Reese inside the box, still just cannot find the net for the life of him. But Mata picks this one off, looks to line one up, hits it, blocked, but it drops to the path of our winger, in towards Reese, and finally he's off the mark, filling in for Jason Cummings, trying to make his name clear for that striker role even when he comes back. He's not had a great go at it so far, but at last our young forward is off the mark in this one. A much improved performance as well so far. We're creating more chances and eventually hitting the back of the net. And things would only get better for us as Lino, he's found on the overlap, looks to pick something out in the box, and that is beautiful. What a pass. Santos, our Brazilian winger, hits the back of the net, hits him with the Bellingham. One of the easiest finishes he's going to have in his career, put on an absolute plate by our fullback, competing with Traore for that spot. And we were coasting, but then they halved the deficit. Not looking great. And the visitors eventually, set up by Ji Dong Wong of all people, smash it into the back of the net. And officially, we've bottled it. Another draw. Not what we're looking for whatsoever. Again, better finishing, but this time we couldn't defend. And Reese spoke to us after that one, and we told him, just keep plugging away, the results will come. And then on the back of that, we had a trip to New Zealand, facing the newly formed Auckland FC, who boasted the best defensive record in the division, and they made a big song and dance out of their keeper pre-game, showing him on all the cameras, but it was our man between the sticks that would be called into action first. Ochoa making a good save. And this game, adverse conditions, a bit of rain coming down, but not many chances for the two teams until we worked it into the box in the second half. And there's Piscopo, Johnny on the penalty spot to make it 1-0 in this one. The winger coming inside from that wide area, Mata setting him up, just prodding it to Piscopo. But he still had the finish to do, and it's a fantastic one, beating that goalkeeper. We were clinging on for dear life, and they went through right at the end, but Ochoa once again makes a big save. We scramble it away, and that was it. Full time in that one, a fantastic result on the road, which means we head back to Melbourne with all 3 points, mogging their goalkeeper there. Ochoa, great performance, and for that he would pick up the Man of the Match award. But back in Melbourne, we head back with the 3 points, but it was then Derby Day. Now we've got a big one. The Melbourne Derby against Melbourne City. The first one, as a save. And we are the home team in this one. It's for bragging rights, but it's also for league position. As you can see, it's quite tight in the table. We're down in 5th at the moment. Not where we want to be. We are in a playoff spot, but we want to be challenging for top of the league, as do Melbourne City, of course. But now we've taken that title away from Auckland as the best defensive team after that victory against them, that 1-0, the clean sheet. That man had a big part to play in keeping that cleano. This is how we line up for the Melbourne Derby. Ochoa between the sticks. Jackson and Lino preferred at the back. Mata obviously in the middle. And the Cumdog back up top as he returns from injury, his first start since the opening game of the season. Can he be the difference maker? Here's the oppo. Matthew Leckie, a big name in Aussie football. Going to be looking to be kept quiet by our back line. But here we go. We are underway. Can get that one away easily. Piscopo got men ahead of him. Ref! You can tell it's a derby game already. Things are feisty. 7 minutes in and we're seeing challenges fly in like that. How's that gone out for a corner? Early yellow. Easy decision for the ref. Leckie delaying it. Oh, what a ball! Oh no. Mehmeti with the early goal. It's a great find in the box, but he should never be that free. Rawlins' his man, I think. He just left him. Just absolutely left him. Good thing he's off in January. Can't get in front of you, man. Lino Oh, he's done him. Ball in. What a save. Ochoa keeps this at 1-0. We are under the cosh big time. Mata, he can nick that one. He can nick that one. Get it into him. Oh, he's been crunched. Coming away with it, Lino. You've got the pace. You've got the pace. Might not have the muscle, though. Oh, my God, what a finish. 2-0 in the first half. This is not looking good whatsoever. Mata just eased off the ball in the midfield. And then that finish, I mean, can't really look at the goalkeeper. That's gone straight in off the post. It's not looking good, chaps. We're fuming. Fanning about with it here. Cleared away. We've got that, though. Oh, ref, don't blow it there. Half time. 2 down. Big uphill battle now in the second half. Drop it back. There we go. Cummings, he's in. Oh, you got to get on the end of that. No way. Terrible. Absolutely terrible second half performance. Not had anything going forward. I think we're in line for some tactical tweaks, to be honest. There it is. Full-time whistle goes. 2-0 defeat in our first derby. Miles off it. Absolutely miles off it. We're going to need to make some changes tactically and in personnel terms as well, I think. So definitely not the result or performance that we wanted from that one. And they weren't empty words from the gaffer. We set about altering the tactical setup, going back to square one. We opted to try and get the wide players more involved because we've seen a lot of our chances and goals have come from those wingers or the wide areas, beginning and then working it into the middle. That's what we've gone for. We've still got Mata dropping in that kind of DLP role, if you like, serving as our conductor. But the first game after those tweaks was against Adelaide, and we did go close early doors. Velupalite forcing a save out of the goalkeeper, but we maintained this pressure, looking to work it to our man in the middle. Juan Mata shapes it onto his left foot, looks to hit one. Oh dear. Goalkeeper has had an absolute stinker, but we do not care. 1-0 up, courtesy of the little magician. There's his first goal. It's been a long time coming. We've been hitting those from outside the box, and it's it's certainly not a pretty one. Goalkeeper's had an absolute howler, but it looked like they were going to up the ante after that goal, putting pressure on us, forcing saves from Ochoa, keeping our defence busy. And eventually, after that sustained pressure, a corner comes in, crashes off the post, and then prodded in on the rebound. A very frustrating one to concede. And in the second half, they weren't letting up. They maintained that pressure and eventually turned the game on its head, and they went in front as we look to have let another lead slip. But with 20 to go, we're trying to get back into the game. Here's Reese, still filling in for Cummings. Tries the effort on his right foot, saved again. Just doesn't quite seem to have the finishing down, but Mata standing over the dead ball. Onto Jackson's head, and I don't really know what's happened there. It's come off the bar, the keeper, one of the defenders, but it's over the line. There's your confirmation. We've equalised in a scrappy fashion, it's safe to say. And we're level, looking to come away with the point, but we give it away cheaply from the back line. And there is absolutely no defensive cover from that midfield. Jackson steps into the box. 90th minute, yeah. I don't want to talk about it really. Don't want to watch this. But we've bottled it again. Onwards to Western United. Cummings is back, looking to get off the mark, but you can tell he's a bit rusty. Blimey, that is a poor finish. Soon after though, Mata picks that one off, plays it through to Piscopo, slides it across for Cummings, and it will not get any easier than that for our number 9. He's finally off the mark. A little later than we wanted after a spell on the sidelines and a few sub-appearances to reintroduce him. But Jason Cummings taps it home for the lead. Second 45, and it was Jackson, a threat again from a dead ball. One of those corners. That one's definitely his. No own goal this time. Not the most eventful fixture, but 2 goals, a first for Jason Cummings, and we are back to winning ways at last. There we go. 3 points and a clean sheet. We've been after that one. Facing off now against Mata's former club, Western Sydney Wanderers, although unfortunately for the Spaniard he was benched in this one. Fatigue is a bit of an issue for the old dog, as I'm sure you can imagine. but we were looking to go for back-to-back victories for the first time in this save. We work it into the box, shot comes in, but it's Cummings on the rebound to stick it home, and we're hoping that finally the floodgates open for our number 9, and he's going to be firing on all pistons. It's not a pretty goal once again, but you've got to be there to score it. Gaffer's happy with it, but one man that unfortunately was firing on all pistons was this bloke, the league top goal scorer, Borello, and he made no mistake, lobbing Ochoa like it was easy. They equalised, 7 goals for him now this season. But on the brink of half-time, we surged forward again, looking to create something before the break. Worked out wide to our left winger, cutting back, opting against the cross, fed in towards the cum dog, and there it is. We retake the lead, a snapshot finish, and he's taken the absolute piss with that celly. And it looks as if finally the floodgates have opened for our number 9. Tidy little finish into that bottom corner on the left foot. Gaffer absolutely jubilant on the touchline, but there we go. And Mata did eventually take to the field. It's my first time on Next Gen. I'm not too sure how I feel about these POV cutscenes, but alas, that would be all she wrote, and we held on for back-to-back victories at long last. The fans finally getting to see us win twice on the bounce. And you may have clocked earlier, this lad being brought into our academy setup, Henry Serevi. Great name, great Barnet. But we played the first youth tournament now that we had enough players to do it, and he was certainly the standout man, scoring headers. Nice little finish here as well. We did get eliminated in the early stages of the tournament, but if there was one man to write home about, it was certainly him. 3 of his goals there. Some nice finishes and some nice celebrations as well, and that would earn him a promotion to the first team. And keeping in mind he's a left winger, we have a left winger that's on the way out in January, Velupalai. He's on his bike, but we have got a deal sorted to replace him. Garang Kowal on loan for 6 months. Made a name for himself at the 2022 World Cup, went to Newcastle, who eventually binned him off, but hopefully we can play a part in reigniting his rise. So here is how the table is looking at the end of this episode. Not quite where we want to be, but we're certainly not out of the title race. We're just sitting in those playoff spots at the moment, and this is just before the transfer window opens as well, so you'll have a final look at the squad. A couple of our older players declining in overall, but not to worry, as long as we can win it in the first season, that'll be alright. But our squad is at that 23-man capacity, with Groskowski and Serevi, the 2 youth players, making up the numbers. And I've seen creators like Sparring DK do it, where they let the audience pick the style of their youth players. So regarding Serevi, our Papua New Guinea prospect, let me know how you want him to look. Boots, kit fit, kit number, anything you want, let me know in the comments. But that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Any signing recommendations as well, feel free to let me know, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers for watching, in a bit.